Hey YouTube, Rob Brenner here, doing another book review. This time we're going to be reviewing Airman by, I'm going to say this wrong, Eoin Colfer, spelled E-O-I-N, Colfer. This is the book about a young boy named Connor Brockett, whose parents are, this is kind of like at the dawn of like the not Iron Age as such, but things like gliders, planes, that sort of stuff, like the Wright brothers era. How he lives on the little islands, and one day he meets up with the king of, it's like on the Saltese Island, and he meets up with the king one day, who is a big friend of his dad's, and meets up with their daughter, and then they just become friends. And he then, one day, the little Connor manages to save the friend's life by improvising, because he's such a genius when it comes to things like planes and such, or just designs what he can think of in 3D. And this gives him the nickname of Airman. Then one day the king gets killed by the air marshal, I should say, who's a bit of a ruthless person, who basically just wants to take over the island, because the king at the moment is very nice, you know, he's well loved and everything, but this bloke really hates that principle. He just wants to be in power. He's just, that's it. He's kind of like Lex Luthor. Yeah, he just wants it all and doesn't really care how he gets it. The king gets killed, and Connor gets framed for the murder, and he gets kind of badly beaten up, etc. And he gets, you know, he gets disguised up by the marshal, who, as I said, frames him for the murder. Connor's dad comes into the prison, doesn't recognise him because he's all bandaged up and everything, and says that he will kill him if he ever sees him again. And Connor himself is taken to a prison, which is kind of like, if ever you watched the Count of Monte Cristo, that prison where people who are innocent are just sent there to be pushed out of the way. That kind of idea is about how, over the years of being in the prison, he learns how to survive. So things like, he learns how to use a sword, learns how to dig for diamonds, because it's kind of like a massive vein, like a diamond vein, and how they're kind of stealing them and hiding them away in bags, and so they'd be picked up later. How he makes up like friends with people on the island, and then eventually gets off to go back to the mainland. And it's kind of like, it is pretty similar to the Count of Monte Cristo. I won't tell you how it ends, because I'll ruin it and you won't read it, which kind of defies the point. I thought it was an okay book. I found it a bit slow. At some points I was kind of trying to knock the urge off the top of my head to skip a couple of bits. It's not particularly difficult to read, it's just a bit, in my mind, a bit slow. It's okay. I would recommend reading it if you're into things around that type of period. I've also, Eoin Colfer, I think, he wrote the Artemis Fowl books. I haven't read them yet. They are on my list at some point. I've got quite a few left to go. Yeah, see what happens, and just give it a read if you like that film, or the book, or anything along that line. Okay, see ya.